Good surprise that could save you money getting personalized discounts on a commercial auto quote with Progressive.
Also, that isn't powdered sugar on the floor. It's plaster from your ceiling.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Every morning, students and faculty fill your school's hallways. And every morning, parents trust you to know who's there with them. With ID Supply, that trust is earned and visible. From student and staff ID cards to secure visitor badge systems, ID Supply helps you instantly identify who belongs on campus at a glance, while keeping your entire facility safer. Visitor badges expire automatically, so no one stays longer than they should. And parents, they can feel confident knowing their school has a system in place. Need supplies? We've got you covered. ID card printers, ribbons, and custom lanyards in your school colors. Most orders ship same day. Parents, if your child's school doesn't have a visitor ID system, ask them about ID Supply, because knowing who's on campus shouldn't be a question. Get 10% off your first order with code SCHOOL10. That's SCHOOL10. Visit idsupply.com or call 800-647-5562. Again, that's 800-647-5562. ID Supply. Trusted by schools for over 20 years.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Well, welcome. It's Friday. And Amy, I'm still up here in Alaska. I'll be back on Tuesday in person. But Monday, we've got the big golf outing. So you'll be handling that show live with John Anthony stepping in as well, straight from the golf course. That'll be fun.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to be practicing this weekend, working on my golf game.
At least hopefully you won't be dodging tornadoes, which I don't mean to make light of. Apparently a bunch of them touched down.
Yeah. We had 2 confirmed tornadoes as of right now, but that's going to be changing. It's been a really rough few days here in Chicago because of the tornadoes and the high winds. Trees are still lying in the streets. I know on the side streets in Chicago and in the suburbs a lot. But this is one teacher I just, we can play it during Open Mic Friday, or Free for All Friday, excuse me, about a Maryville teacher who was just brought to tears at what happened to his high school. But now we're going to focus on the Bears. Yes, because it's all, here we still are, a week later, still in a holding pattern. We broke the news to you here on the show, on The Real Story, when it happened that the Bears made this declarative statement that they are moving. They're looking for a place in Hammond, Indiana, and now they're looking at 3 different spots, the one at Wolf Lake, now the Lost Marsh Golf Course. So I don't know if this is a cat and mouse game, but some Republicans are doing something about it, right, Jeannie?
Yeah, that's right. Representative Dan Ugasti is with us right now. He's offering a proposal to keep the Bears in Illinois. And according to a Fox 32 headline, also provide property tax relief statewide. Dan, thanks so much for joining us on The Real Story. Tell us about what your proposal is and how you feel about getting it across the goal line.
So thanks for having me again. So the proposal that I have really in large part resembles part of what, or is based on part of what the House passed, which is a pilot mega project bill. And basically what this is pilot is payment in lieu of taxes. And a mega project is because I think you have to have so much investment in order to qualify this and be able to sit down with local government and try and negotiate a reasonable amount of payment in lieu of the current property taxes with some sort of increase going a number of years. And if it's completely voluntary on both sides, and if they can work that out, then they can reach an agreement to do that instead of paying the regular property taxes. My thresholds, though, are a bit higher. I think they need to be $500 million to start and $1 billion to get, sort of the premium level in this. And then also, I think if we're going to do this for the big companies in order to bring more economic development here, more opportunity, expand our tax base, which we need to do all of, but then we have to provide property tax relief for everyone else in Illinois. Our current business owners, other smaller businesses that want to come here, our current homeowners, property owners, whoever they may be. They need property tax relief. That's what this situation has brought to the forefront of conversation, because we all knew about it, just no one was talking about it in the media and getting it out there that we have a huge problem that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, these types of deals have already been done. I point again to Goshen and Manteno, where they promised about a $2 billion investment, and Pritzker ponied up about $536 million in tax subsidies to them. And then locally speaking, they also got a pilot. Essentially, they got their property taxes frozen at a particular level that was not commensurate with what the value of that property was going to be. So that is essentially a pilot program, a property or a payment in lieu of taxes. And so this has already been done before. It's nothing unique. It's just, for whatever reason, Pritzker seemed to just not be interested in putting the deal together. He was very much hands off. Why is that?
I think he's looking at, as we all believe, and I think everyone would acknowledge, he's looking to run for president. And he doesn't want to have a moniker of being the one who put together a plan, I think, to bail out billionaires and give them a break in the state of Illinois versus helping people. I don't think that's accurate. If you look at it, this is an economic development opportunity which will provide jobs. It will provide far more in payment of property taxes, I'm sure, assuming the local governments negotiate properly, than what they're receiving now on a vacant piece of land. So it's a win-win for everybody. But the best part about it is, like I said, to me, it shouldn't pass unless we have property tax relief within that for all property owners within Illinois.
Have you heard?
That's the way we do that. And there's no giveaway like Goshen got of $500 million to help them build a $2 billion plan.
What about all the money that went to illegals and is still going to illegals? What, $2.5 billion? I mean, couldn't some of that money been used to try and keep the Bears here?
Well, you know what? It could have. You're right, but I still wouldn't even propose we use our money to keep the Bears here. The Bears have offered to pay for their stadium and for this project, and we should allow them. We shouldn't be helping them build this, that we shouldn't be using our money for that. There's a number of different studies that show when you build the stadium, the economic impact you get from it, the return on investment just isn't what it should be. So this is something they're willing to do. All we're doing is trying to help them with something that we need to do statewide, which is start fixing property taxes to where people and businesses only pay a reasonable amount so they can compete on a national level and succeed.
Okay, so what does that property tax relief for your regular homeowner look like in your proposal?
So we're starting with two that doesn't cost the state a thing, so they don't even have to look at it as, well, where are we going to come up with this money? They are simply, we're going to put all tax referendums that local governments try and pass, we are going to put those on the general election ballot. No more doing it on consolidated elections, no more during primary elections, because the people just aren't as engaged. And you never get a true sampling of what the population wants. The general elections, when more people are engaged, you have more transparency, people thinking more about these things, and I think you get a better indication of what the community wants, whether they're willing to raise their taxes or not. And then the other one is no more backdoor bond rollovers. Right now, currently, if a local government goes to referendum and gets approval to get bonds to pay for something, before those are paid off, they can roll them over and just use the money again without ever having to go to referendum. That's keeping our property taxes higher than they need to be. What we need to do is, and what this would do, is stop that in its tracks. Once they're paid off, once they expired, they can't roll them over at all. What they have to do is go back to the electorate with a new referendum if they want more money.
Well, so the mayor of Arlington Heights is pointing fingers at Chicago state lawmakers, state reps, and state senators, saying that they blew this deal by proposing this new Bear Stadium on the museum campus. Is there any truth to that?
You know, from what I understand, and of course they do now allow me in their caucus meetings, but there's a lot of infighting as to, whether the Chicago delegations are going to be voting for this because they don't want them moving out of Chicago into Arlington Heights. And I've actually heard some say that they'd rather see them move to Indiana than allow them to go somewhere else in Illinois, which to me is just no way to approach anything as a state representative or senator. But that having been said, and it's not all of them or the vast majority of them, I'm sure, it's something that the Bears need to decide. So my bill would basically, it's a statewide bill. It could be used for other businesses too. And my bill would allow Chicago to still compete. Chicago and Arlington Heights. The Bears get to choose where they want to be. And it's been made pretty clear, I believe, that they want to be in Arlington Heights. But that's the way to approach it. You let the developer determine where they want to be and go forward. And yes, it's the Chicago Democrats that I seem to be blocking this from getting this done. But all they have to do is come work with the other side. The Republicans want economic development. We would like to keep the team here. We would like the jobs and opportunities this is going to bring. It's not just a stadium. It's also a whole entertainment and hotel district and other things around it. So this is just a win-win all the way around is the way I see it, and we should allow it. It would also get to the new stadium, from what I hear, would be able to get a Final Four and a Super Bowl. Those have a huge economic impact on an area, too, that benefits the area.
Okay, Dan, so I know how this works politically. They're not going to let a Republican pass a proposal that would allow the Bears or negotiate directly with the Bears. So what's really going to happen with your bill and your proposal? Are they going to let you in the room, or are they going to just steal your ideas, or what are they going to do?
Well, I would love for them to let me in the room and actually try and pass it. But yet, like you said, you know how this works, and I know how this works. I've been there long enough now. And I'm going to tell you, if they'll accept my idea and use it and pass it themselves and go with it, I really don't care. I'm about getting economic development in Illinois, improving the situation for the people of Illinois. And, end of the day, and getting property tax relief for everyone in Illinois would be huge. And then end of the day, we get to keep the Bears. We're all just further ahead.
Do you think that they're playing a cat and mouse game with us right now when they mentioned last week that they were moving or looking forward to going to Indiana and checking out 3 different locations?
I think there's probably a little bit of that, but I also think that they're tired of waiting. And they feel they have to start moving forward if they're going to be able to do anything, because they're not going to wait forever for Illinois to come together and get this done. The Democrats have all the levers of control in the state, as you both know. They have the governor's office. They have both chambers by super majorities. They should have cut a deal and been done with this a long time ago. This should have been done by now. So I think the Bears are thinking, they may never get their act together and come forward with something, so we better start moving. But as they apparently indicated, they're willing to listen still if Illinois ever comes up with a proposal.
All right. Well, you know what? At this time, it'd be, I guess, helpful if the Democrats had somebody like a Mayor Daley or a Rahm Emanuel who thinks he can always cut a deal with anybody. So, Dan, I want to appreciate what you're talking about and appreciate what you're trying to do. But there's no deal makers like Rahm or Daley around anymore in the state of Illinois, although Rahm has weighed in on that. And we'll discuss that much more. We want to thank you so much for coming on The Real Story this morning and giving us an update about your proposal and what you're trying to do. We appreciate you. And after the break, we'll be back with what Rahm had to say about the Bears.
Subscribe to The Real Story podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or at 560theanswer.com.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Hey, this is Sean Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat, and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711. Or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
AM 560.
The Answer.
All right, so welcome back. It's Jeanne and Amy on Friday, and we'll be taking your calls for Free for All Friday. So get those lined up for us coming up after the end of this part. But first of all, we want to go back to Rahm. Rahm, who thinks he's such a deal maker. See, everything's a deal with this guy. You can't have an honest conversation about what's good public policy. It's always got to be a deal. And he thinks that he could have gotten a deal with the Bears.
Oh, yeah. He had to come out because, well, it was a very loaded conversation between he and ABC7's Craig Wall. But, yeah, he's saying poo-poo, you lawmakers.
I think all these cities around the country and states that are throwing money at billionaires are out of their mind. Everybody get in the room once that priority is set. Stop playing around and see if you can meet that obligation. Look, I think they know where their fan base is, they know where their future is, and they know what would happen if they did. So therefore, I don't think they want to go
Oh, the wise one has spoken, Jeannie. What is your response?
Well, look, I mean, this is how Rahm has always operated. Everything is a side hustle for him. Everything is how he can make himself look better. And, we wrote about Rahm and his relationship with Bruce Rauner back when I was running against Rauner in 2018. We put out a book called The Governor You Don't Know, and it was all about Rauner and some of his shady deals that he's done in the past. One of them was with Rahm Emanuel, and he made Rahm Emanuel rich and gave him the money that he needed to pocket in order to become mayor of Chicago. Here's kind of how it went down.
Do tell.
After leaving his post after leaving his post as a senior advisor to President Bill Clinton, Emanuel came back to Chicago to look for work befitting his experience as a chief campaign money raiser, high-powered political consultant, and denizen of the White House and partisan assassin. Something lucrative is what he was looking for. And that's when Emanuel was introduced to Rauner, then chairman of GTCR Golder Rauner, a private venture capital firm. Rauner had a different advice for Emanuel. He told him to go instead of going into the venture capital business, he'd do better investment banking, where, as the Chicago Tribune and New York Times later reported, Rauner suggested that Emanuel's political connections would be useful in making deals in government-regulated industries, and so they did. They put together a deal between GTCR, who had poured $135 million in Security Link, which was a security company owned by Bill Daley, and they were trying to offload it. And so Emanuel was the go-between between Daley and Rauner on this deal. And eventually what happened is that they needed financing for this. So Rauner's firm paid $479 million to Security Link, with SBC financing all but $100 million of the sales price. And then everyone was happy. Daley got to dump his troubled security company. Emanuel firm enjoyed lucrative fees for doing the deal. And then Rauner's company sold 6 months later, sold Security Link for $1 billion, making, 100% profit on the whole thing. So, I mean, this is what he's a deal maker. He's always been a deal maker. That's what he does. He's highly political. So there's no doubt that, probably if it were Mayor Rahm Emanuel, something would have happened. But guess what? I think taxpayers would have been losers in it.
Well, he's a champion of our taxpayers, don't you know? Because FIFA, World Cup is underway. It started yesterday. U.S. plays Paraguay later today. But FIFA was supposed to come to Chicago, but guess who stopped it? Mayor Rahm Emanuel at the time, because he did it for me and you, Jeannie.
I believed this was a boondoggle for the taxpayers. That's why I said no.
FIFA was negotiating with potential host cities in 2018 while Emanuel was mayor. Why did he shut down a deal?
Because they wanted us to take, us being the city and the taxpayers, to take on all the financial risk. And they literally walk away with all the financial reward.
And then there was the contract language that called for a dome to be built over Soldier Field.
I said, take it out. They said, no. I said, well, end the discussion then. I said, because you're not leaving me with a $100 million liability on behalf of the taxpayers. Not doing it. Now, I want to be clear. I hope the games are a success.
Please. If I can't love you, no one should. That's
Look,
typical Rahm Emanuel right there.
Yeah, he doesn't want to bail out billionaires. He helped bail out Rauner on that Security Link deal I just talked about. And then he wants to protect taxpayers. No, he doesn't. This is just comical.
He needs to get his name out there because he's running for president. I don't know if you watched the NBA Finals, Game 3, I believe. Guess who was sitting there courtside getting all of the attention? He was in so many cutaways, Jeannie. And I said, he was sitting next to a blonde. I said, well, that's not your wife, Amy Rule. I don't know who that is. She was wearing a rhinestone glitter up jacket. But he said that seat, he didn't pay the $25,000 for it because I think that's what they were going for. But he was there because his brother, Ari, bought the ticket for him. But please, that's great.
Ari
That's
75
so
yet?
Oh, yeah, to pull the plug on himself?
Yeah.
No, but seriously, everybody who was anybody was there. Taylor Swift was there, Adam Sandler, Jerry Seinfeld, and there is Rahm. But because he was sitting in the middle of the court, at the half court line. And so he was in every cutaway. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's running for president, even though, he's being wishy-washy about it.
How serious are you, and when do you think you'll make a decision?
I'm very serious.
With what Emanuel called middle-class foundational pillars broken, he's asking himself several key questions before deciding whether to run.
Do I have what it takes to help put that foundation back on solid ground to help the next generation? Now, do I have what it takes to answer that? That's what I'm going to decide in the next 6 months.
Here's the deal. I've heard from my sources that only one, it's like a cage match, 2 enter, 1 leaves. You've got Pritzker and you've got Rahm. And there is going to be this secret meeting in the Gold Coast within the next month that is scheduled. And the Chicago Democrats, no matter what you say about them, you know how we feel about them, but they have a lot of power and they have a lot of money. They are going to decide. You cannot have both. You cannot have Pritzker and Rahm Emanuel. So they're going to have to decide who people are backing. And I think President Obama is definitely going to back Rahm. I mean, Obama was out there on a podcast just ripping on Governor Newsom, saying, no, he was supposed to solve the homeless problem. We gave him, he's received billions of dollars to solve the problem, and it's only gotten worse.
Look, I think they can make whatever deal they want or decide who's going to run as the Chicago Democrat for the presidency, but the United States population is not going to accept anybody. They've seen what comes out of Chicago when they saw what came out of Obama. And I think they're having none of it.
All right, coming up, Free for All Friday, 312-642-5600. Grab a line.
Your home is a valuable asset, and you want to take care of your home. From roofs, siding, windows and doors to furnaces, flooring, landscaping, and much more. Listen to your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio with your host, Roger Piper. Get answers from industry experts so you can make informed decisions about home improvement. Listen tomorrow at noon for Home Answers, right here on AM 560 The Answer. Sponsored in part by Level 10 Coatings and by JeffBuysYourHouse.com.
News. I'm Gianna Gelosi. Elon Musk is taking SpaceX public, marking a major day for Wall Street.
If people had told me this was going to happen, I was like, man, you must be smoking some really good crack. Because I think this company's going to fail.
Musk could become the first trillionaire. A UFC event scheduled to take place at the White House on Sunday, marking the president's 80th birthday. But a not-so-happy birthday wish was burned into the grass.
The U.S. Park Service say that markings reading 8647 were discovered around 11:30 yesterday afternoon on the west side of the Washington Monument. 47 being a reference to President Trump, and 86, that is often noted as slang for getting rid of something.
It's Fox's Alexandria Hoff. This comes months following former FBI Director James Comey's indictment for posting a photo with a similar message on the beach with seashells. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies with a breeze and lower humidity levels. The high will reach 82 degrees. Tonight will be clear with a low of 63. Tomorrow will be warm with a mix of clouds and sunshine, becoming breezy in the afternoon. Showers and heavy thunderstorms are expected at night with a high of 85 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
It's finally happening. The Fed is making a change in leadership, and that could have a profound impact on the value of your retirement. When interest rates go down, the value of precious metals like gold and silver can surge. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free gold and silver investor guide, a $49 value, plus a free copy of Ken Rogoff's insightful book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Inside, you'll get honest information about gold, silver, and other precious metals, so you can explore your options with clarity and confidence. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free. Markets can turn fast, but gold has maintained its value through every cycle, often holding strong when other assets falter and when the dollar weakens. Are you positioned? Don't miss this opportunity. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
John was an active man. He'd go for runs, walk the golf course, and always take the stairs instead of the elevator. But then bone-on-bone knee pain got in the way and affected his mobility. It became too painful to even go for walks. And when it seemed like John's only option was knee replacement surgery, a friend told him about the Joint Relief Institute and their affordable, non-surgical knee pain relief. John met with the Joint Relief Institute and discovered their lubricating gel treatment could rejuvenate his lost cartilage. Safe, effective, no surgery. Long story short, John is now back to being active without pain or medication.
There is an alternative to knee replacement surgery. Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-264-0149 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-264-0149. That's 800-264-0149. What do you have to lose? Call 800-264-0149. Again, 800-264-0149.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
AM 560. The Answer.
What day is today? Friday. You know what that means?
Stimulate your mind, man. It's Friday. One day I'll have Friday on my mind.
It's Friday. Shouldn't you be off with your friends, scaring old people?
It's Friday, Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
No holds barred, free for alls.
After this Friday, the neighborhood will never be the same.
Might hit the highway on the Vegas run, fool, cause it's Friday. Oh, yeah.
Becomes a free for all.
It's finally Friday.
You know what happens here on Friday?
This type of free-for-all melee.
The phone lines are open. Call Jeanne and Amy now. 312-642-5600. It's time for Free for All Friday.
Welcome back to The Real Story. Jeannie Ives, Amy Jacobson. Jeannie reporting from Alaska. She's up in Juneau, don't you know? Have you enjoyed your time?
Oh yeah. Hey, by the way, we saw a black bear just across from the Home Depot in this sort of open field that was, they had woods on the end of it. He's just walking along, like literally, I don't know, a quarter mile. Not
trying to be a day laborer. Just kidding.
It's just so
That's
funny.
Great. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine living there full time? I mean, has the weather been okay?
Yeah, the weather's been great for us.
Good.
Yeah, fortunately.
Good. All right. So we're still continuing our conversation about the Bears. Got a text message, 312-642-5600. You can call us or you could be shy and just text us. Text message from 312. Amy and Jeannie, there seems to be no sense of urgency at all from any Democrat leader in Springfield regarding the Bears. And one person who is finally speaking out about it is beloved linebacker, Hall of Famer, Brian Urlacher, who has some comments. He's a Trumper. He loves President Trump. He is a Republican. I think he should run for office.
Yeah, I just don't see how, as a state, legislator, governor, city mayor, how you can let this team leave the state of Illinois or even be a topic of discussion. You do what you have to do to keep the Bears there. The fans, we have some of the best fans in the world for any sport. If I was those guys, I would probably do what I had to do to keep them in the state of Illinois. Maybe not at Soldier Field because that was already off the table, but they had Arlington Heights planned out. They have the land bought already. Find a way to keep them there, and they just don't care. They're putting their money in other places that maybe aren't as important. You look at all the money they've given to illegal immigrants and the money they've set aside for that. It's like $2.5–3 billion that they've spent on the illegal immigrants. That money could be, could be for the Bears, could be trying to keep them, not for the Bears, but trying to keep their stadium in town instead of keeping people who aren't supposed to be in our country here. Anything that President Trump does, I'm on board with. I don't know if he's going to do it, great. If not, he has a pecking order he's going to follow. Whatever he does, and everything he's done so far has been great. So just keep it up.
I'm talking about, speaking of giving money to illegals, a reporter asked Governor Pritzker if he regretted giving $2.5 billion to illegals when that money could have possibly have been used to save the Bears. And he blamed, guess who?
You may not recall that it was the governor of Texas, Abbott, who decided to throw people onto buses and ship them across the country, 55,000 of them to the city of Chicago, to the state of Illinois. We didn't get much help from the federal government to deal with that. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, in a humanitarian crisis, when people are arriving in the middle of winter often, without the proper clothing, certainly without food, without shelter, were we just going to let them starve or freeze and be on the streets? And the answer was no. What we had hoped was that the federal government would assist in this, or that Governor Abbott would stop shipping people across the country to very cold climates. But we did what we needed to do.
First of all, as somebody who has lived in a border town, they couldn't handle all the hundreds of thousands. Eagle Pass, a population of 30,000, Jeannie, and they had tens of thousands a day. And those people had a choice. One bus was to L.A., one bus was to New York, one was to Chicago, one was to San Francisco. I mean, they had a choice, and they signed a piece of paper. I know this for a fact because my friends are reporters there. They signed a piece of paper before they got on the bus. In El Paso, they had to shut down schools. They canceled volleyball season because the illegals had to live in the gym because they were crowding the streets. I mean, the whole thing is just, this is what infuriates me about him. He's got to pick a boogeyman. And whether it's Trump one day or Greg Abbott the next day, it's
happening. I think I did the calculation. I don't know if it was off of 5 million or $7 million. There were 7 million people that were estimated to have come into the country illegally. And I did just the proportionate per capita share that over 300,000. Wow. Because guess what, Pritzker, you and your entire Democrat Party allowed this to happen. Yeah, too bad. Sometimes you have to feel the pain and see what happens to terrible policy. And definitely the voters did. And that's why in 2020, Trump back in office, and he's solving the problem, and you're still not helping. You could be helping right now, but you're not. You're hiding the illegals still to this day.
Let's go to Jack in Northwest Indiana. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good.
So, listening to all this back and forth with regards to the Bears, and they wind up putting a deal together. The Bears need to ask themselves whether you can truly believe what is discussed between the mayor, Pritzker, all these legislators, back and forth, sort of played, frankly, the same game that Iran is playing with Forbes anyway, of roughly $8 billion, eighth most valuable franchise in the NFL. The state legislature can put a deal. We've changed our minds. The Bears are pretty sophisticated. They didn't move to Indiana, not because of the move, but because that they would literally think that any deal discussed, as they said before, until there's a shovel in the ground and you know what the real deal is, you're going to put yourself and your franchise at risk as far as the deal blowing up at the last minute. And then what do you do?
Well, Jack, are you excited for them to possibly call Northwest Indiana home?
So, you know what? I don't really care. I'm from the western suburbs. I'm here, as I mentioned to the screener, I'm here on a self-imposed exile. I don't think people, seriously, I don't think people realize, and I didn't until I was here, this is effectively suburban Chicago. There are so many individuals, not only who relocated here, but on a daily basis, they take the train. It's not Metro, but they take a train in Chicago to drive. They shop, they live, they have family like I do. So it is really no different. And for anybody who lives on the southwest side, Orland, what have you, it's closer to go to Hammond. So I think Arlington is a much better site just from a sort of real estate perspective and what they can do with it. But with all that nonsense and all the gamesmanship going on, there's a reason Boeing, Caterpillar, John Deere, what have you, are deciding not to locate there. And the Bears are no different than any of those entities. You've got real money at risk. I'm going to put $2 billion+ in and have that clown Pritzker or Johnson decide at the last minute we're going to have to change things up. Oh, my goodness. There's no way.
All right. Thanks, Jack, for the phone call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Glenn in the lovely state of Florida. Hi, Glenn. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you ladies are doing fine. I wish I was in Juneau with Jeannie. It sounds like a cool trip. Anyway, I think that, from a business standpoint, the decisions have to be made on, money coming in and money going out. And this state has no concept of where the money's going. That's why there needs to be a full audit of everything to see what's happening. But until that happens, you really can't trust anything the legislatures say because, money could be going out faster than it's coming in as it is now in Illinois. Whereas, in Florida, we're talking about reducing costs, reducing the property tax and everything. In Illinois, they're talking about increasing costs. I mean, let's do an audit and get our foot on the ground on what's going on with all the expenses. That's what I would do if I was in Illinois, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, well, somebody who is in Illinois right now is Nick Shirley, and he's speaking tonight at a Republican event in DuPage County. He was invited in by or actually not DuPage County, but he was invited in by the Illinois GOP for a fundraiser. And so he's getting a lot of attention around the country. Look, third most corrupt state is Illinois. Third most corrupt city is Chicago. And certainly we should work on the spending side and the fraud side in the state of Illinois. I hope Shirley, we don't need Nick Shirley to come here and do this, but we need his example. And, that's what we need. So I appreciate that he's here. Apparently, though, there's a lot of security issues.
Well, yes, it's in Elk Grove Village, and apparently there have been some death threats. So police are on notice, and they have backup planned in case something does happen. But we want a safe event tonight. We don't want any outside agitators coming in from Seattle or from Milwaukee or from down somehow. Somebody's paying them to protest somewhere. So as of the Somalian fraud, the story that he broke in Minnesota, and then in California, with those hospice facilities there was nobody in, the offices were empty, but the owners were driving very fancy cars, Lamborghinis and Cybertrucks. So kudos to him. And recently he was in California to talk about stealing the vote and about a lady who's 126 years old, I think, or 118. I don't know. Maybe she Botoxes. That's why she looks so young. But he checked in on her for her registration and who voted on behalf of her.
So how old is this person who's eligible to vote here inside the United States, inside the state of California?
126 based on the Secretary of State.
And this is Doris.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see if Doris is home. Are you Doris?
She's right here. Yes.
Hello, Doris.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We're just going through the voting rolls here, and we're just confirming anybody who's above the age of 100 years old. And right here it says you're 126 years old.
No, you got the wrong house. That's a lie.
Are you Doris Wood?
Yeah, but you got the wrong house. I'm Doris Wood, but you got the wrong place. That's the wrong information, all that stuff. No, that's wrong.
Oh, here, I can show you if you like.
No, it's just that it's wrong.
How come you think here in California they're just messing up on all these voting rolls here?
So you get a taste of it, but basically they did not clean out their voter rolls. We know that homeless people, many of them have been coming forward saying that they were paid $2 to $4. I mean, you can't even buy a sandwich with that. But $2, $4, the highest I heard was $5 to vote for Karen Bass or Nithya Raman. And I have to tell you, Spencer Pratt has spoken. He's been very quiet. He tweeted out or X'd out a picture of a duck on a pond with no caption. But then yesterday he tweeted out, "Are they done counting yet?" with a question mark. So here it is. According to the Associated Press, with 99% of the votes in from the June 2nd primary, Pratt received 2.5%, Karen Bass 34.3%, and Ramen Noodles received 29%. So he is out of it, which makes me so sad. And people like that sicko Jimmy Kimmel is dancing on his political career.
So now we wait to hear from Spencer Pratt. You know, he clearly promised that if Karen Bass or Nithya Raman were elected mayor, he's going to move out of L.A. He said he was done with L.A. And Spencer, if you're watching, we are so sorry to see you go. But we do know we're going to miss the hell out of you. You're a man of your word, and you've got to go. You said you were going to go. And I know things might be tight right now, especially the out-of-state donation money is running out. Moving is expensive. So to help you out, we rented you a U-Haul.
Not funny. I mean,
oh my gosh, this is so obnoxious. But I mean, back to the Nick Shirley, 126-year-old. We did the same thing. We did the same study. We went through all the voter rolls, went through the data in 2020 after that election, which, by the way, I ran for Congress in, and I knew there were problems. So we looked at the DuPage rolls. Sure enough, we had, we had Grant Hone, 121 years old, on the voter roll, and he voted by mail. We had Peggy Schmidt. She lives in Villa Park. She's 121 years old, and she voted by mail. And we had Teresa Locastro. She's 119 years old, and she actually walked into the polling place and voted in 2020. And so when we raised this up, of course, what was the response? Oh, well, you know, it was just a clerical error on what their date actually, their date of birth actually is. I mean, this is what they do. This is how they do it. But I guess, you know what, Amy, the good news is there is a Supreme Court decision that is probably going to come in before the end of June. And when that happens, they may not be able to play this game of counting the votes post-election.
I hope not.
Of course, yeah.
Because Benny Johnson, he went to a vacant lot. Listen to this, a vacant lot in L.A. that had a porta potty and nothing else. And 29 people were registered to vote there. So it's just sick. All right, 312-642-5600. We're going to take phone calls. Dan and Wilmette, you're on The Real Story. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, how you doing? He is leaving Illinois.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you for that.
So that would be moving up to Wisconsin, where they have other operations already. They're moving the rest of their, I think it's 170 employees up there as well.
And there was a rumor, and I asked you if it was true. Not a rumor, leaving for greener pastures, but that's a very large. I mean, people talk about moving companies, and moving their homes. I mean, you have to go through a lot to move. I mean, it's a big deal, and it's emotional too. As a homeowner, you have to find a different bank. You have to find different doctors. You have to do all this stuff. And so for those who have left, kudos to you, because I know it takes a lot. Let's take a break here. When we come back, who's going to be watching the UFC Freedom 250? It's going to be a big event. I can't wait. And we'll take more of your phone calls. 312-642-5600.
This is the show that the Chicago Press Corps and the Democrats in Springfield don't want you to hear. It's The Real Story on AM 560. The Answer.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Jeannie, are you going to be watching Sunday to celebrate Flag Day, but most importantly to celebrate President Trump's 80th birthday? And it's part of UFC Freedom. That Marco Rubio compared it to a landing on the moon.
So I have a couple. First is America, and the ideal behind America is the impossible. That someone tells you you can't do that, or that is never going to happen. The whole idea of America is audacious. I have a country where found government or from your leaders, your rights come from your the world at that time, and that's the foundation. But then how can you achieve some of the things? You know, we're going to put a man on the moon. When President Kennedy announced that we were going to put a man, well, we did it. We are a nation founded on doing what no one else dared to do.
And I have to tell you, there's a lawsuit that
really comparing the UFC fight on the White House lawn to landing on the moon is a little bit over. I mean, come on.
And that's
Seriously?
what the left is. That soundbite has gone viral very quickly. Yeah. Trying to stop it, Jeannie. They're trying to ruin President Trump. By this group, Public Integrity Project. As a Vietnam vet, and Susan, a civic activist, approved a private, for-profit UFC event on federal land without environmental review and without the required congressional approval for a new structure. I mean, look, it's going to be the first ever sporting event held on the grounds of the White House, but it's not the first sporting event. I mean, I went through and started reading. I got wrapped up in this of what former presidents have done. You had Hoover had a b-ball game on the White House lawn. You had several people have tennis matches. Obama turned the tennis courts into a basketball court. W. Bush put up a half court. There's bowling and there's the swimming pool. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And
what about the Easter egg roll?
Oh, that's right. Well, think about what Biden did. Biden,
or a wedding or two.
Yeah, that's true. But in the most grotesque manner ever, Biden had a gay pride event, and which turned into a transgender fest, and people were making out in front of the White House, and then a tranny flashed his breasts.
Titties?
Oh, no, you can't say that word. Breasts,
Oh,
Jeannie, it's the breasts. It's just, I'm going to watch. I can't wait. It's going to be, beautiful. I think it's going to be big. It's going to be the greatest thing ever, but it's his birthday. It's his party. And the people that are attending the event, Jeannie, are members of the military. They didn't have to pay for it. They invited them. And then there is going to be, a spillover location where the people can watch in public that essentially won a ticket through a lottery. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's quickly go to Ron on the South Side. Hey, Ron, how are you?
Hey, Amy, speaking of Pritzker and Ron, Pritzker is more in line with the Democrat Party. If you look at all of his policies, Ron is trying to position himself in the middle. I just don't think it's going to fly. But what about Ron running for governor? So those are my comments. Maybe y'all.
Oh, yeah. Ron, he's not running for governor. He wants to run for president. Go heavy or go home. Also, too, I want to remind people real quick, Ray Charles performed for President Obama's 50th birthday, and JFK Jr., or JFK, remember, he had a huge party at Madison Square Garden and had Marilyn Monroe sing the happy birthday to him in a dress that she had to get sewn into because it was so tight. So presidents, they're going to have the parties that they want to have, and they're going to play their sports events that they want to play. So, all right, looking forward to Monday. We'll be at McRae Golf Club. There's still openings available. Go to 560theanswer.com/golf and have a great weekend. God bless, and God bless America. And Jeannie, safe travels back to the lower states.
The mainstream media isn't just biased. They're hiding stories from you, deliberately. Restoration News is changing that. With elite researchers and